Welcome to the penultimate week summary and the final week of the 2024 Tri-England Northwest Swift League. We hope you've had a fantastic time over the last several weeks. There's been 360 of you that have been racing at least one of the weeks, and we're just coming up tomorrow now to the very final mass grand finale race. So I just wanted to give you all a bit of a reminder of where you stand, how we got there, and energise you for one last big and tough race. Before I do, from the final week of group races and also the new Ladies and Champions race that we had last week, I just want to give you a few standouts. Thank you to the team captains who've sent me their comments on their heroes of their particular team. So Tristan, Dan, Donna and John, all new FTPs for Wire when they were racing against Total week before last. Molly Bryce, you turn out to have been the most valuable performer for Total during the group series. So congratulations. Great to see the sisters doing it for themselves, so to speak. Tom Spencer for Lakeland, you hit a new FTP again in the last couple of weeks. And Ian Elsby from Knutsford, just congratulations to you. You went solo and had a big win in your most recent race. I think about 15 seconds clear of the field. So a big effort from you. From the same club, Paul Knutsford, you put a 3.7 watts per kilo FTP up in your last race, which I think is a new record for you. So well done. Setting new records also, Claire Holloway, new 20-minute max power when she was racing for Rochdale in the Ladies and Champions race. Vicky Faulkner, a new FTP, and Tom Yates, a new 5 and 10 minute power record also in that race. So well done. And we often celebrate the female racers, we celebrate the senior racers, but let's also celebrate Ben Hadfield, the under 16, who in the last mass race came 6th for Rochdale, beating a lot of riders. There'll have been 50 or so riders in that race. So well done, Ben. Great to have you on board and scoring points for your team. So I just want to make sure that you're all familiar with how we got there. This has been a new format and a new year for us. It's necessitated a change in the way in which we score and the way in which we organise, because there's been so many of you, 360 taking part, 12 different clubs, 40 odd teams taking part at various times. So we've had to split things up and to reorganise things. So just to explain how things happened. Right, very back in January, we did a kick-off race. And in that kick-off race, it was a mass race. Everyone could take part, partly to help people get organised. It's how we seeded groups and how we put you in some sort of order. So the winning club in that would get 12 points, the second place club 11 points. All the riders in that club would get the same points as their club. So even if you finished last, but your club came first, you'd pick up 12 points for your team there. That helped us to split you into two groups. We had to do that because if we'd have had a round robin series as we'd done in the previous years with all 12 teams, we'd have had 11 weeks of group racing in addition to the formats, and we couldn't have squeezed it all in before Easter. It wouldn't quite have worked. So we had to split you into a Group A and a Group B. So all of those who got 12, 10, 8, the even points were in Group A, and the odds group was Group B. Then within your two groups of 6, you took place in head-to-head races. So one club pitched against the other. In each race, each team from each club gets a couple of points for every other team that they beat, plus 1 for entering. That rewarded performance because the fastest teams get the most points, but it also rewarded the number of teams that each club could get out. So you'll have seen that Rochdale did particularly well because they were getting teams A, B, C, D, even as far as H in some races. So that will have added points to Team A. It means that the fastest riders need big participation from their clubs to score well. Now, we had to even this up and make this fair, because if you ended up in Group B, but there were 2 big clubs in Group A, that gave a slightly unfair advantage. So we've evened that up a little bit by, at the end of the 5 races of head-to-head, we put your groups into a league table and we gave you points for your final league position. Still meant that the biggest and the fastest clubs got the most points, but it just compressed the points a little bit to make it fair and made sure that teams in Group B had a reasonable chance of competing with teams in Group A this season. we've learned from this, and we'll have another think about that next year if we all come back and do it again, which I hope you will. Then, right at the end of the group stage, thanks to the captains and a few people who made suggestions, we looked to prioritise particularly the ladies competing and also the champs of the very fastest riders in each of their groups. So we had last week a ladies and champions race in each of the groups, and that seemed to go down very well. I think it was very different from some people. Heard a few comments about how you had to race very tactically, try and support your ladies or your champion rider to get into the front of the race. So I guess that's what it's like being in a pro team, where some of you are taking part just for the glory of some of the others. But I hope you enjoyed that. A little bit different. I think it went pretty well. And we awarded points to each club, and therefore each rider in each club. So if you're in the Rochdale club, for example, and your club managed to get all your ladies across the line first and got 12, then you got 12 points for that. So everyone benefited from the efforts of everyone there. And then next week, or this week now, coming up in tomorrow, we have the grand finale. Now, the point scoring system is the same as the head-to-head races. Every position scores you a point, but it's a big race. It's slightly longer, and we're looking forward to that. Just a quick look at my Zwift app says that there are already 125 riders entered for that race. So looking forward to that one. Could be mayhem. Just a quick example to help you understand that if it feels a bit complicated about how the scoring system works. So this is what happened to Rochdale B, for example. Rochdale won the kickoff race, partly through strength of numbers, but partly through good performances. So Rochdale B and everybody in Rochdale B got 12 points for being part of the fastest club. They were allocated into Group A. And Rochdale B, through the series of 5 head-to-head races, earned 83 points in the head-to-head races. And that put them in 3rd place in the group races. Rochdale A came first, actually, and the team from Wire A came second. So they, out of there were 26 teams that took part in Group A from the 6 clubs. And so that group, Rochdale B, they earned 24 points for coming in 3rd. Then in the ladies and champs race, Rochdale came first and got another 12 points. So we add those points together. The 12 plus the 24 plus the 12 gives you 48 points as we enter the final grand finale. But if we had all of the teams that have taken part so far represented, there would be at least 93 points, possibly more even, but there would be at least 93 points still up for grabs. So you can see that Rochdale B, if they put in a smashing performance, they could still earn almost twice as many points as they've arrived at thus far. That makes the race tomorrow really competitive. So just a quick summary of how that played out, and I'm giving you the top sort of 11 or 12 teams in each group. And what's good to see is that most of the clubs are represented here. So what we can see is probably no surprise to anybody, but Rochdale A, they won the mass race. They were first in their group position, so got 26 points for that. And they won the ladies and champions race. So they are sitting on a total of 50 points. 50 points is the most points that any team or club has got in either Group A or Group B this far. So you can see that even if you do tremendously well, even a group from Group B doing well in the grand finale race can overtake Rochdale A. So it is still up for grabs. Wire A came second in that group. Rochdale B came third, but they've got 48 points by virtue of the success in the ladies race and the mass race at the beginning of the season. Wire B on 38 points now, similar sort of story. As we look down, we see that Total A are the next club to sort of join the party. They came 6th in the group positions. Well done them for a smaller club. 21 group points, and that puts them on 36 points. Then we see YSC and now Knutsford. You see Knutsford, who did well in the early mass race, managed to get a joint 8th position with Rochdale in the group head-to-head races. They got 19 points from that and did okay in the L&C race. So they're on 37 points. Then we've got Rochdale D and then Rossendale A joining the party. They came 10th in the group races and they start the grand finale on 32 points. Just scrolling down, because we haven't mentioned Nantwich in Group A. Nantwich came second in the mass race. They came 20th in the group position, so they earned 7 group points, and they're starting on 11 points. So it'd be good to see how if Nantwich can get themselves up the table in the final event. Similar set of results for Group B, and this one was Lakeland A. Got 11 mass race points. They came first in the group position, so the total of 20 group points. They got 10th they came third in the L&C race, so they get 10 points, so 41 points. So only 9 points off of Rochdale A. So that really equates to 2 or 3 positions in teams in the end. So really go for it tomorrow, guys. Chester A in second place in the group, and they've got 30 points, lower by virtue of the fact they didn't do so well in the mass race and the ladies race. Then Lakeland B, then Chester B, then we see Chorley. They came 5th in the group races, did very well in the mass race at the beginning, not so well in the ladies race. So Chorley B have got 28 points. Then behind them Bolton, Bolton A are going in with 22 points. Good to see Lancaster A. Well done, Lancaster. They've struggled to get teams out at certain races, so didn't do so well in the mass race and the ladies race, but their stronger team did pretty well, came 7th in the group races, so they're up at 16 points. Then Preston A, and so on and so forth. So we can see all of the clubs mixed up there and represented well, which means that you've all got points to play for in the final grand finale. So, as I say, the grand finale, if it's anything like last year, it's mayhem. It's a hell of a big race. Already, as I say, 125 riders already appear to be entered on the app. I'd hope to see probably getting up to 200 riders. So captains, do get out there and remind your riders to take place. You race in your club team. So another reminder, captains, please send in to me your team sheets before the race kick-off, so we can all ensure that it's completely fair. I look forward to that. But 7:30 on the start line on Tuesday, 2 laps of the Richmond race. It's got the cobbled climbs in it, which are hard, and that tends to split the group up. But it's got the long flats as well, so those are the opportunity to get working with people and to try and catch up any gaps that have formed on the hills. 2 laps, so it's slightly longer, 13-mile-ish sort of race. We wish you all the very best of luck. Hope you enjoy it. Have a great time and look forward to sharing the results with you at the end of the series.